and welcome to the third chapter of our channel, TriFacta Exchange. TriFacta Exchange is a talk show hosted by Natalie Aldajani,
Chris
and Malik Muhammad.
We three individuals openly discuss our many perspectives based on our own facts of life.
This show highlights the exchange of our valuable information with the hopes to inspire like-minded people to grow together with us and make this world a better place to live in.
Today we have invited some special guests who will be joining in on topics we can all relate to. First up is Chris Cowell's special guest, Miss Chewie.
Yes, it's my best friend, Chewie. She hails from, she grew up in Taiwan and grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. And I met her, actually quite a very interesting story on the other side of the world from where we are today. And then we became really good friends actually in Los Angeles when we found out we lived pretty close to each other.
Awesome. Well, we are so glad to have you with us here today, Miss Chewie.
Yes, welcome, Chewie.
Thank you so much. So excited to be here.
So can you tell us a little bit about your background? And in particular, one of the things that we want to know about is, what gives you your inner strength? And whenever you're ready to share that with our audience and us, we would appreciate it.
Sure. I do have a Taiwanese history, but I was just born there. And then at 2 years old, my family moved us to Tempe, Arizona, just because that's where my dad was accepted into ASU to do his PhD program. He has since moved back to Taiwan to continue in his field there. He's super smart and does something with transmission electron microscopes and semiconductors. Anyways, so I grew up in Arizona. I went to the U of A, and then I moved out here to LA in 2011. Oh, and then in terms of inner strength, I'd say actually maybe that's why I meet friends like Chris at like festivals, because I find that I draw a lot of my energy from other people's positivity, and Chris is one of those amazing people that I met.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. So yeah, that's mostly it. Some meditation, a lot of yoga too, but mostly my friends.
That camaraderie.
Yeah, the connections. It's clear that you have such a bright personality and can really easily connect with folks. I'm even happy to just be here connecting with you today.
Thank you, Malik.
Yeah, of course. So Chris was telling us a little bit of some of the things you've been battling over time. We heard that you just fought a grand mal seizure, and you've had some kind of health complications that you have totally overcome. So we were just wondering if you could if you were willing to share a little bit about that and maybe how that's impacted your life or how you may see life differently.
Yeah, of course. So as Chris mentioned, I did have apparently 5 grand mal seizures, according to what people were telling me, because I obviously wasn't awake during them. But this was back in October 2019. And those seizures were what alerted my doctors to the fact that I have a tumor in my brain. So it's called a GBM, a glioblastoma malforma, and it's grade 4. And so it's cancer. It's a fancy word for brain cancer. Underwent a craniotomy. There's actually a fun little scar. You can't really see it because my new do hides it. But yeah, it's changed my life quite a bit. In that, I think it's one of the first times that I've really been uprooted and don't feel very grounded. I've had to lean on my friends a lot, Chris being one of them.
Not a problem.
Thank you. So yeah, it's been, I would almost call it a struggle, if it weren't for all, let me rephrase that. It is a struggle, but it's also really eye-opening because I've had so many people come out of the woodwork who have been there to support me. Finally got that therapist that I always knew I needed. And he's been great too. It's also had an impact on the relationship between my mom and me. So we've had a really tumultuous relationship growing up. She's quite a bit of a tiger mom. But it's helped us kind of finally take that extra step to understand each other and even actually work on our communication.
So
important. Yeah, so important. I don't know, it's interesting though, because everyone's like, oh, the pandemic, and that started in March 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I felt like I was already, 4 months ahead of you guys in terms of locking myself down, just because of the chemo and the radiation and all of that. So yeah.
I am so sorry for what you have been through, but I am so proud of you for being as strong as you are. My grandfather also had a tumor and he had it removed and he lived for like 20 years after. So like you're gonna be fine. I mean, he was old at that point too, so like, trust me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the way you kind of reframe this essence of struggle, right? Because all folks are navigating life in various different ways and have different forms of struggles. But it sounds like you really turned it into something that was more empowering for you, right? And allowed you to focus more on some of those connections. So really appreciate how you flipped the script a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Trust me, it's taken a lot of work to do that. It's been a lot of work. But yeah. It's as my therapist would say, instead of looking on the bad side of it and trying to like get all my affairs in order, kind of just looking forward to what we can do after, everything's been cleared. Because I love traveling, so I'm so excited to just start flying again, But also, here's the thing is like a message to all the people that are watching and listening is I remember waking up in the hospital, in my hospital bed, and them giving me this diagnosis, which was only like, the prognosis was 6 months to 18 months, coming up on the 18-month mark, which will be May 13th. And I have a little celebration planned for myself internally. But I remember waking up and going, if this was it, I'm not unhappy because I've done so much. As Chris said, we met on the other side of the world. And prior to lockdown, every summer, so it's 2017, 2018, even 2019, I took a couple of weeks to go do my solo travel, like backpacking, kind of through Europe. It was a very bougie backpacking, but yeah, so that's my little message. Like, whatever you guys want to do, like, just do it now. Because I woke up with zero regret. I was like, I've done a lot. I'd be happy if this was it.
That is
I wasn't happy.
Outlook.
Yeah. Hear you, so.
Yeah.
Good on you, honestly, because that's inspiring for so many people I know that are sick. Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I have friends that have given up on themselves, and that having that inner like courage to say like, this has been a great life, and to accept everything that was given to you, like you're very strong, and I'm happy that there are other people that are going to benefit from that positivity, that are going to hear that and be like, me too.
Yeah,
it's a humble reminder to live for now.
Yeah.
Right? Because you never know what life is going to toss at you, so just live.
Yeah, exactly. And as all my friends have told me, like, no one is guaranteed tomorrow. I'm sure I have a tumor in my brain, but what about the person that like was run over by an SUV, going 75 miles an hour in Silver Lake on a curve, who you should really only go like 15, 20 miles per hour. Like, they lost their life in an instant. You just never know. So.
Yeah. For today.
For all of us.
Yeah, sorry, that kind of ended on a really somber note. but it was meant to be inspiring.
It's true. 100%. You're right. Like Malik said, live for today, because you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow, and don't put that weight on somebody that you know that's going through anything. Mm-hmm. Make them live for today with you. I love that.
Yeah.
Chris, would you like to ask Chewie her third question?
It was more of a statement of how I come to respect her. So when I met her, it was on the other side of the world. We were at a nice festival, and I saw that she had a really quirky Corgi Nation flag, and that was super cute. It's I know exactly where that's from. That's from California. I live in the same Southern California area. I want to say hi and see if we connect on the other side of the world when we are all back over there. It's hello, my name is Chris. I'm also from Los Angeles. And so from then, we have been really, really incredible friends. It's not often I can find someone who likes to travel, especially solo travel, and share a lot of experiences with me. And every single time that I see her or I come to meet her, she's always smiling and always happy to see me and always there in the moment with me. And so when she says she's had a struggle this year, it's an understatement. She has been through a lot, and every time I've talked to her, she has always something nice nice to say to me, and she always brightens my day. So I don't understand where it comes from, but now that the more she hammers into my head that she gets her strength from her friends, I can see that now. I can understand where she's coming from. And so I really just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, thank you, Chris. And I actually believe I want to say the first thing you said to me was, I know where that flag is from. And then I think the second thing was do you want to go up?
Yeah.
And I love that. I remember looking at you and going, you sure? Because I think at that time I weighed 140, and I was just,
yeah.
It's I don't know about this. I feel like I'm gonna crush you.
But I was happy to do it.
You're
you were, and right you there. Did it wonderfully. Thank you. Mm-hmm. I think it was at the Arch with Steve Aoki playing?
I think so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just went up. Mm-hmm.
Went up, and it was great.
So you're saying Chris has been supporting you since day one?
Literally.
Yeah. Literally.
Lifting you up, yes.
Yes, he's a wonderful friend.
Yeah.
Well, I will say it has been such a true pleasure having you with us today. Just as much as you brighten up Chris's life, you have brightened up our time and our space here. So thank you. Such an honor having you with us today.
Thank you so much. I wish you guys all the best.
I want to ask you two more things, and then you can feel free to stay on for Devon's portion as well. Okay. Do you know your Myers-Briggs?
I do. I've discussed this with Chris, and it's funny because it's the same as your guys's. I'm an ENFJ/P. Yes. And then I guess I am somewhere between I'm pretty sure it's always 51% J, 49% P, but very leaning on it. And I think they added a fifth category, and I'm an A in that fifth one.
Yeah.
Well, I honestly had a feeling, so I was like, come on, tell me. Yes. When's your birthday? What's your sign also? I'm curious.
Birthday is November 29th.
Who's a November baby?
I'm a November baby. I'm on the second half though, so I'm a Sagittarius.
I was gonna say Sag, but I'm the cusp, so hi sister.
Yeah. Are you Sag too?
I'm literally Scorpio by the last day. So I have Sag tendencies according to the book. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know much about it. I do know that I'm a Pisces moon.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, which is funny because I think Sagittarius don't get along with Pisces, which I can see that a lot in my mom and my ex.
It also depends on if it's girl and boy energy basically. Because,
okay.
Yeah. We'll talk. I got your,
Okay.
your email now.
Yes, let's talk. Let's chat.
Before we scare everybody off with our sons and men.
Right.
I believe in God, guys. I swear to God. But I do. I believe in him. All right. So Malik, can you please introduce this gentleman?
I sure can. So everyone, I'm so excited to be welcoming in my dear friend, Devon Sinclair Fields. He is an incredible choreographer, director, dancer, singer, actor. He does it all. And honestly, he is one of my absolute best friends, my pseudo life coach, my brother. Devon, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I prepared my I'm Devon Sinclair and you're watching the TriFacta Exchange. So I to draw the logo.
I love you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Devon. Seriously, appreciate you taking your time because I know you are a busy person doing all the things. But if you could just kick us off and give us a little rundown. Who are you? You and I met when I was in 7th grade, you were in 6th grade, so in middle school, and we have been friends ever since. And I think especially over this past year to 2 years, we have developed such a strong bond that is totally unbreakable. And I am so grateful to have you in my life. But I want you to tell our audience, who are you? What brought you in today? What drives you? Just give us the overview. Who is Devon?
Okay, ultimately, I am a creative. I'm definitely an artist. I'm very thankful for that factor of my life. I think back sometimes, there was a moment, I had a really awesome math teacher when my junior year of high school, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll be a math teacher because I really enjoy helping others figure out the problem. And I'm like, wow, that would not have been what I would have not loved that as much as what I do now. So I'm very happy to lean into my creative and artist side. I, like Malik mentioned, am a director, choreographer, I'm a performer. I guess I could say before the pandemic, but also it's coming back now. So I guess still currently, I am an entertainer where I host events, typically bar and bat mitzvahs, but I can also do weddings and quinceañeras and sweet 16s, all those things. So I am ultimately a performer. I like Chewie, get my energy from others, and I just am one for all of the energetic things in life. There is nothing passive about me, I feel, and I, like Malik also mentioned, with having a busy schedule, just all those different jobs, as most artists are, we try to fluctuate and survive and thrive as we can. So I just do all of the things, from teaching to performing myself and all the things in between.
Yes, all the things. And honestly, I'm in awe sometimes of who you are and all that you do, and how you just exude energy, right? You give me so much energy, so much life. I can see the energy bouncing off to the other folks here in our space. So again, so grateful to have you with us. I think Natalie can maybe kick us off with the first question.
I would be honored. Thank you, guys. Mr. Devon, what gave you the courage and mindset to follow your passions in life?
Ooh. I think that I was always encouraged to do such a thing, but there are lots of things that play a factor: our own fears, our own anxieties, the things of what does the real world look like, all those things, of course. But I went to school for broadcast journalism, and I was a dance minor, and so upon graduating, I thought I wanted to give myself a year just to see what the arts had for me, if I could make it, all those different things. And I was fortunate enough to get a job at the Walnut Street Theater right out of school, and that was a year-long job that just kept pushing me into other jobs. So from there, I was like, great, I'm not stopping. I don't see a reason to. Why would I not choose something that makes me happy? If it's a lot of times people ask me what do you do for fun? And I'm like, oh gosh, I want to say my jobs, but it's only because I only do things that I'm going to have fun doing. If I can make work not feel like work, I don't want to do that. I'm going to do that.
That is an amazing mindset to have. That's what everybody should be doing, honestly.
Yeah.
Reform on education, do things that actually make sense for what you're good at,
Right.
I completely agree with that. And I also like that your math teacher, probably your trigonometry teacher, was the one that inspired you, because shout out to Miss Bell, That was also the one that I loved, literally. Hated math until Miss Bell, literally. Sorry, all the other math teachers, but.
It's funny that you even say that because you are a teaching artist, right? You do a
Right.
lot of education, but I could never imagine you as a math teacher.
Right. I think the core of that moment was, wow, I'm really good at adapting things for others and learning like where they're at and how I can get them to understand this information. So that's why I was like, wow, I'm taking pleasure in helping you figure this out because it feels so far into you. But math was just the vehicle at that moment where I was like, I'm really good at this. I think I could. And then, like the next year, I think I failed a math class. So it's all subjective.
Well, I will say that's one thing I know about you is that you have a great way of helping bring people to a new level of understanding, a new level of energy, a new level of just understanding themselves, right? And I think you have found a way of doing that by just listening. You listen and you really key in on who people are and who they can be, which is so amazing. So I appreciate you for doing that for me.
Thank you.
Okay. Shall I ask the next question?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Devon, how do you maintain such a strong sense of self and positivity with all the things that you just juggle?
I think... Okay,
real quick.
I feel like I should have like a good answer for this, but like honestly, it's for me. I will say I am extremely blessed to just like naturally be very positive and very energetic. That is something that I have, especially in the last year and a half, have learned that is not common in a lot of folks. So that is something where I'm like, whoever anyone praises to, I'm just like, yup, thank you. Like I like wake up and am like, I'm ready to go. A friend of mine, like she's like, I feel like you're Iron Man. You have some weird source of like energy just in your chest and you just like go. And I'm like, okay. And don't get me wrong, like I'm human. Like of course we have our moments where we dip down a little bit, but ultimately I will say for me it's something that comes natural. And I think it goes back to this idea of like, I'm going to always choose happiness first. And I guess if I ask the question one more time, I just want to like be sure I'm answering it.
How do you maintain such a strong sense of self and positivity while juggling all of the things life throws at you?
Yes. Okay. So I think that in that juggle, I have learned that it's okay to put something down. I can like juggle 4 things, put a ball down, and it's still like an awesome trick to like juggle 3 things. But ultimately, in times where I have not felt at my strongest or the same way other people have perceived me, I know that I never want to go back to that moment. So I like will just be like, cool, we've been there, we've seen what that looks like on ourselves, and let's choose a different story. Of course, easier said than done. Like Chewie mentioned, there's work that goes into all of these things, especially mentally. But I think for me, it's a big choice thing of like, cool, I can choose to subject myself to something that's going to make me unhappy, or I can choose myself first.
Yes,
I really agree with that. There was a lot of studies or research done with saying that when you can embrace what you're feeling, like whether it's hatred or it's anger or it's happiness, and you're like, hey, I'm angry now, but let me disengage because look at all the things that it affects around me. I don't like how it makes my friends run away from me. I don't like the way I treat other people. So the fact that you can see that you don't want to be in this mindset and just pull away from it and still become positive and maintain a sense of positivity, that's really strong, and I really appreciate that of you.
Thanks. There's a lot of like deep like nuances that of course come with that, where you're like, being aware, like it's just a lot to be aware of. But there's things where, like you said, like my mindset's just like, cool, it's going to affect a lot, and I need to know me because no one else will otherwise.
Yes, it makes me think of our high school motto: make it a great day or not, the choice is yours.
We heard this every day of our
every single day, right? It was
make it a great day or not, the choice is yours. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm like, you laugh about it, but then like the second we all graduate, we're like, it is so true. The choice is yours. Like, they really were telling us. And I'm like, it's fair. Like, even on my worst days, make a different choice. What choice can I make to steer me in the right route as much as possible?
Yeah. You started to talk a little bit about this essence of like awareness, and you and I have been talking about that a lot, right? As we have gotten older and recognized that having a level of awareness can, on one hand, be really empowering, really push you forward, but then for a lot of folks it ends up being something that's crippling. Right. So I wonder if you could share anything about what that process has been like for you, and how do you keep up even with that level of awareness that you have, and not let it be something that cripples you in that way.
It's hard. Oh my God, it's hard. It's so hard. I am someone, and so it's like, it's the artist in me. I am a presenter. I am an arranger. I am a leader. So I am always looking at like honestly, I came on this call and I was like, wow, Malik and I are both wearing red. Chris and Chewie are both wearing black. Like, I love that this is kind of like worked out like that. Like, I'm a visual person like that. So in just being aware, I'm like, awesome. How can I contribute to like things that just like without us recognizing and drawing a lot of attention to, even though I just brought attention to that, like just like can help a moment. Like that's really like, how can I contribute to the benefit of it? Now, what can be, like you said, crippling is where it's like, ooh, I'm aware of so much, and I'm aware of if I'm not contributing, or just like, ooh, these 5 elements are at play and I'm only prepared to deal with 3 of them. So like there's 2 here that are just kind of like got me on my toes, and okay. Woo, okay. And like a thought that's honestly going through my head right now is, I feel like I'm aware. There's moments where I'm taken out of this like ignorant bliss, let's say, and I'm like, I've never dealt with this before, but like, why are these thoughts coming to mind? And I'm like, is it just because we are told at a certain age, well, you're going to have to worry about this, you're going to have to this, and I'm like, just knowing that information, I'm like, am I forcing myself to go through this, or is it actually like real? And I think it's hard, because then it's a lot of questioning, but ultimately I'm going to trust my impulse. I trust my impulse over everything else, and my instinct, like, it hasn't, I mean, of course it steered us wrong on some occasions. Hashtag went to Penn State, but let me also clarify that, loved Penn State, because you get some wild moments at Penn State, but ultimately trusting that everything's going to happen for a reason. And I hate saying that even as a cliche, but everything's okay. I'm gonna work in my theater side. I'm a yes and person. So like, cool, might not have expected this moment, but I can like yes and like retweet it and like let's go with it and see where it leads. So like, even in moments where we're turned like upside down, cool, we're gonna make it a new trick and see what happens.
Yeah, trust yourself. Yeah. Trust yourself.
So important to not ignore that voice. It does not matter what Joe Schmo or whatever thinks. Like, if you have that feeling inside, don't do it. Just like go with the flow on it, or do it and, you know, like have everybody else be standing on the island while you're making your way across, you know.
The island, yes.
Yes, it's true. Like, just because one person tells you something's good, if it just doesn't feel good, you're like, I'm gonna question that and get a second opinion, you know. And
honestly, I am really into in October of 2020, I was doing this workshop, and just a phrase that came up that I had never heard before that's like really kind of been sticking with me is radical transparency. And so there's these moments where we all have, like, we're listening, we're like, oh, like, you know, just like, is this worth asking? Is this worth this? Is it just me? Da-da-da. And I'm just like, great, let's put it out there. Like, I don't know, like, let's just see what happens if we like literally, it feels weird and it feels radical, but like, what happens if we literally just put it out there? Because why not?
Yeah. What's the worst that could happen? People become more aware on a certain level.
I'm like, if I don't understand, I don't. And I don't want to yes and you and enable you to do something that I might not actually agree with, or vice versa. Like, if you don't understand, let's talk about it.
Agree to disagree also. Like, there's so many people that want to force their opinions that they will avoid contact with other people that they disagree with, even family members, for years. Like, all holidays, there's excuses. They don't want to go. Like, that person supports so-and-so, that person does this. Get over it. Like, just coexist, agree to disagree, and move on. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we can live with that beautiful mindset of being able to actually understand where somebody might be coming from, like, that empathy word is very stretched, I understand, but we all need to understand where others are coming from and where their journeys might be at, in order to get to, we can get along.
That lack of understanding is always the thing that holds people apart, which is so scary.
It's ego. It's all ego. It needs to be
Stop it.
So Devon, I want to ask you at least one more question, and of course anybody else can hop in. But what is one piece of advice that you would give to our audience in terms of living your best life? Because I'll tell you right now, you are constantly living your best life. So I wonder what type of advice you might be able to give to our folks on that.
So there's a phrase I've been using. We're all very familiar with it. But I think that everyone needs to live on their own terms and conditions. That is something that I've been saying in the past, I think like month now. And I'm just like, cool. How often do we check other people's boxes? And we're like, yeah, I agree to that. And we like don't fully read it. But I am always, some people might call it egotistical. Some people might call it self-indulgent. Some people might call it narcissistic. That's totally fine, whatever you define this as. But for me, I'm going to put myself first because I'm the only one with my exact lens always. And I am always going to still be open to hearing where your lens at, seeing what you're seeing. But I need to be on my terms and conditions if I'm going to be happy. So I would ultimately tell everyone to figure out what that is for you. And actually, like in a conversation we were having recently, he said there was something that he brought to my attention and I didn't fully disagree with it, but it was a choice that could have made other people uncomfortable or someone like might not be a fan of. And I was like, cool. There's a moment though where I'm aware of that and I'm okay still doing what I'm going to do, because if I don't, then I'm going to be the one uncomfortable. And like, I'd rather have the knowledge of, ooh, we really don't mesh in this type of world or in this type of environment because I made you click my box and did not rub you the right way, or vice versa. And I think I've just been at a place where I'm like, cool, I'm tired of clicking other people's boxes. I'm gonna click mine first.
That's wonderful. I really like what you're saying. One thing I have a phrase for that too, saying like, don't compare your life to the highlights of everyone else's, because that's not fair for yourself.
Yes.
Right? And so you go at your own pace. You have the things that make you happy. You figure out how to get there, and you go at the pace that you're comfortable with.
Yeah. And that, what I love most about that, and it feels like a wonderful crossover, is that for me, knowing your own terms and conditions means you've had to do the work to think through it. Like you have to, it takes the knowledge of self to then approach everyone else correctly.
Right.
And that's just what it is.
I wanted to ask Chewie if she had any questions for Devon. Have a little cross interview. And vice versa. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you've probably mostly answered this in Chris's question earlier, but I guess I'll just kind of re-ask it because I'm sure there's like a whole plethora of information. In the entertainment industry, how do you keep yourself from getting down or feel like you blend in with everyone else?
What a great question, because what a weird industry we put ourselves in. Like the entertainment industry is literally, you're just meant to hear no so many times. And it's hard not to take those things personally at times, but I think knowing that everyone's just different. Like everyone's not Beyonce. It's just like the facts of it. Like there's moments where I think I'm at a point where I definitely like find, okay, boom. So you ready? Tyra Banks. I think the reason Tyra Banks is so successful and is so successful, and what's so really cool if you like go back and watch America's Next Top Model, is because she was always able to see the pretty in everybody. Whether you were diseased, whether you were at the, thought of overweight, whatever, like she's just always able to see your pretty. And I think that for me, with that kind of yes and mentality, I'm like, cool. Even when I don't agree with someone's artistic choice, they're making it for a reason. So there's truth there. So I'm always trying to just be like, cool. If I'm not the choice, if that doesn't work for me in a way, I'm just like, there is art here, and it's something that I kind of now want to figure out so I can tap into that when the time comes. But then also, I'm allowed to have my brand of art that in my terms and conditions where someone can be like, oh no, I need that level of extra or this or blah, blah, blah to bring to this specific type of something. And so I'm like, cool, it just might not have been like the shade they needed for this particular color, but like, I'm ready to learn everyone else's tints and shades, and I can't wait till they learn mine as well.
Such a great mindset. That helps a lot with your self-worth and not becoming jealous of other people. So
right,
that's wonderful.
Yeah, find that
where we live in today, where we are constantly comparing ourselves to other people. And as you said, jumping into the entertainment industry, that's a part of what you're sacrificing for yourself. Is like, that's what you're coming into, but the way you embody that is everybody has artistry within them, and we have to find those avenues of where and how they can come forward. It's so important.
I need to know, do you know your Myers-Briggs as well?
I think
Yeah.
I am ENFJ.
I feel like you are too.
Oh my gosh.
And I know that was me in high school. I think at one point in college I looked it up and it might have shifted to like one letter got off. Like it was maybe it went to P at some point. I definitely want, maybe I'll retake it after this interview. But
and then
I'll send you the link.
I might have already pulled it up.
Okay, and when's your birthday?
I am a December 22nd Capricorn, so I start us off. I'm on that cusp of Sagittarius in the Capricorn. But yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I just like knowing personalities and everything else. Like, I don't compare it to completely what I read. I compare it to people I know. And
Yes.
like, you guys both have that fire. Like, you guys are both like very personable. Like, you're very on. Like, you're entertaining just by breathing, you know? Like, that's
Woo! That's about to go on the resume.
I was gonna say, wow, I love that. That's just lit like a new fire under me. Like, I'm breathing, I'm entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a girlfriend that is a Sagittarius, and I shoot the shit with her all the time, and we just kind of get each other because it's like, you guys wake up happy, and so do I. Like, in the morning, like, we're like, it's a new day, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, thank you, like, okay, I'm here again, you know, and we get to, like, we share our joy, probably text our friends a little too early. It's great for these guys because they're on other sides of the coast, so I'm like texting them at 6 a.m. and they're like, it's already 8, like, you're late, like, you know. We've been up, you know, because they're morning people too by choice. Like, you have to choose your mindset, and I appreciate that both of you guys have great minds. Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah, I wake up every morning to my best friend who lives in Atlanta. Like, her text messages start coming in at 3 and 4 in the morning. So
Now, is she still up? Or I'm sorry, is your best friend still up, or have they woken up? Like, is that a late night for them or an early morning?
Oh.
an early morning. She's a doctor. She went the path that I was supposed to go.
Good at her. See?
Yeah.
That's a
I
good
feel like I will send one of those texts, but it will be like, I'm still awake,
Yeah.
technically.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're a bit of night owls around here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that too, actually. I like the night owl too. Like, when you choose to live your life. I remember people in college like staying up way too late, and I was like, guys, I need to go get what little beauty sleep is left, and they're like, can't go to sleep, still life to live.
Yeah.
When we finally get a chance, all of us, we can be together, we're going to have ourselves a night. Okay, so you'll
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely, and we'll document it for everybody that's watching as well. Thank you guys for being here. Like, I know it was only a short snippet of getting to know you guys, but I appreciate the time that you shared with us and for just coming together on this. Like, really, I know the boys want to say a little something before you guys go, but thank you from me.
I just wanted to say thank you to Chewie and Devon for coming online. Right when coming through here, I had so much planned in the morning, so many errands to run, but just taking an hour or so out of my day to do this was really wonderful. I really appreciate the energy you guys given me, because it's made my whole day just talking to you guys.
Yes.
I can echo that entirely. This has been somewhat of a lazy day. You know, I got up to do something, but it really was just hanging out. But you all have just given me so much energy, so much life. But I appreciate your time and energy, appreciate your wisdom, right? The point of our show is having an opportunity, as we said, to exchange our valuable information. And our valuable information is just living life, right? So we all have a story to tell. Oh, we have another friend.
Sorry, I figured since he was already barking, he might as well make a little appearance. This is Riley.
Riley.
What's his full name?
Well, he's either Riley or Rylion, or as I like to call him because Chris and I live the EDM life, DJ Ryle Styles.
That's for sure.
Oh, I love that. Well, if Devon or Chew, if you have any last words that you wanted to share as we wrap up.
the same as you guys. Thank you so much for having me on. And Devon, it was lovely to meet you. Love meeting new people and getting to share, even if it's just a little bit. So I do really hope we get to all meet in person soon.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I'm going to echo that because I've heard such great things, and I'm happy I was able to experience it myself as well. Meeting you,
Thank
Riley, you dope too. It was helpful to be reminded of the TriFacta Exchange of, like, I really do love that, because we've all got, there is pretty and beauty in all of our perspectives, so just getting that exchange is really important. So I appreciate getting to listen and to be present.
Thank you.
All right, I appreciate you guys. And as always, thank you guys for listening, tuning in, watching. We appreciate you, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.